Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and we are lost on Crete in the Minotaur's labyrinth today. We're going to have to find our way out. Alagem has set us a puzzle called The Curse of King Minos. It's a yin-yang. I'm really looking forward to giving it a go, but I'm not expecting it to be quick. You can check the video length and see whether I was right. Now, don't forget that you can join us on Patreon, where we have, of course, Swipe Right, this month's puzzle hunt, and all the other months that we've ever had puzzle hunts, which is many. Check them out. Well, I will come to where you can check them out in a moment, actually. Now, they're all on Patreon, though, and there's now my crossword solve, there's the connections video lately, all sorts of things always on Patreon. Simon's long solves of very difficult Sudoku puzzles sometimes appear there. We've also, of course, got our apps, and they are marvellous. Fog of War is the latest and is very popular. Do check them out on the links under the video, along with our merchandise like this mug, and along with the URL to SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD, where you can support Sven in developing this marvellous software that we play in every day. But I was going to mention George the Toad's wonderful Cracking the Cryptic website in beta at the moment. Do check it out at georgethetoad.co.uk. And it's got lists of all sorts of things connected with the channel, and links, and it is just very all singing, all dancing. We're delighted with it. Well done, George. Now, do have a look at that and comment to George or ourselves. We've also, of course, got 2 videos every day on the channel. On Friday, there will be a crossword video, and then, I mean, just loads going on, as always. But I'm going to do the rules of The Curse of King Minos now by Alagem, which says, you are caught by the curse of King Minos and must find a way to escape the lurking Minotaur. Only by following the ancient rules will you find your way to freedom. Normal Sudoku rules apply, 1 to 9 in every row, column and box. I don't know how ancient that is, but I'm glad to see it here. Now, it's yin-yang, so you colour every cell in the grid one of 2 colours in such a way that in each colour, all the cells are orthogonally connected, and there's no 2 by 2 region of that colour. So, to borrow Simon's shape, that of course Half-Baked Lunatic did a puzzle involving, that is one version of the shading of one of the colours. And if you look at that, you'll see there's no 2 by 2s, and they're all joined together. And if you look at the remaining cells, which would be the other colour, the same is true. Now, we have sight squares. A digit in a square indicates how many cells of the same colour are seen horizontally or vertically from that position, including itself, where cells of the other colour block the vision. So it's a concept we've used before. Let me just imagine that those cells were yellow and the cells around them were blue. So the yellow would get out there. Anyway, what would be the number in this cell? It counts as many yellow cells as it can see, but it can't look round corners. So it's basically 1 for itself, 2, 3. That would be a 3 in the corner. And if this was yellow, and this had a square in it, it would be a 2, because it would only see those 2 cells. But it's only the square cells that do this. Oh, and there is one final rule, and it's probably very important indeed. There's an anti-king rule. Have I got a king piece? Yes. Kingy McKingface will sit here when I think about yin-yang for too long and remind me that there is an anti-king rule, which means that diagonally adjacent cells may not contain the same digit like those 2. That's the set of rules that we're working with. Give it a try on that first link under the puzzle. You'll be able to gauge from the video length how hard I found it in due course. And now I am going to find it that hard by saying, let's get cracking. Get a given 1, of course. Right, well, I mean, I'll tell you the 2 or 3 things that I know about yin-yang that are often very helpful. One of them is often very helpful to the break-in. And that is that you can only have 2 different runs of colour in the perimeter. So I'll explain why. If you had more, you'd have to alternate at least twice between them. Imagine they were yellow and the rest were blue. And then if you connected up the blue, which you would have to do with any connection, you would cut off the two yellows. And if you connected up the yellow, you would cut off the two blues from each other. So that is an impossibility, what I've just depicted, and therefore there is a maximum one run of blue and one run of yellow. I seem to have chosen those colours for this in the perimeter. The second thing I'm going to tell you is, for almost the same reason, you can't have a checkerboard pattern like that in a 2x2. And that is because if you tried to join up the blues, you would cut off one of the yellows from the other one. And if you did the same with the yellows, same deal either way. So those are the only things I really know about yin-yang, and that I find them difficult. But let's use the perimeter thing. Okay, we've got sight squares, and we've got sight squares on the perimeter. And I think my brain is telling me that, yeah, okay, because of this perimeter rule, that there's only two breaks in the perimeter, those breaks must, maximum two, must occur, I believe they must occur in rows or columns around the perimeter with only one square in. And the reason I think that is because if you did make this whole section blue, wouldn't you have to have at least a 9 in each of the squares? They can already see 9 blue cells, and they might, in either case, see more. But you can't put a digit that's more than 9 in a Sudoku puzzle, and you can't put 2 9s in the same column or row. So I think that the rows which have the row 1 and column 9, which both have 2 squares in, must both have colour breaks in. And therefore this row and this column do not have colour breaks, and I can colour them all blue, and I can write 9 into that cell and 9 into that cell, and I've started. And this cell has already seen 9, so that's yellow, because if that was blue it would be seeing a 10th cell. Actually, I can make that yellow on the same premise. I can make this yellow to avoid a 2x2 in that area. Now, we have to have a break here. So there is some yellow in this column, so those are all yellow, because we've only got one stretch of yellow around the perimeter. Now, this cell is not going to be 9, so it's going to have to be 8. And now that means this is blue, because it's already seen the 8 yellows. And now, because I'm only allowed these 2 runs of colour, I've finished colouring the perimeter. Oh. That's to avoid a 2x2, but isn't... Oh, have I broken this? I can't put an 8 in that cell now. What did I do wrong there? Oh, I can put a 9 in this cell. Why not? Yes. Oh, well, that's quite helpful. Oh, honestly, hot and cold chills as I thought it had gone badly wrong within the first, 4 minutes of just doing things that I thought were virtually given. Well, I mean, they're not given. You need to know what's going on in a yin-yang to even get this far, I think. Yeah, it really helps to have had some experience of a yin-yang to get this far. Now, this is going to be a 9 because it already sees 8 blues. It's perfectly simple. I don't know why I was so panicky, but I was. Anyway, that's a 9, and that means it must add this cell. Those are only 8 cells, so that's blue, and now that's not to end that run. So we are getting some yin-yang colouring. That's yellow because this yellow has to get out. That's yellow to avoid a 2x2. Then we get to avoid a checkerboard here, and that becomes yellow. And I've coloured the whole of box 9 among inter alia. Right, now I'm going to have to do some numbers. I can do this one. That is blue, and it's only seeing 2 cells because it can't look around the corners. This is at least 4, that's at least 4. This one, who knows? What next? What comes next in the puzzle? Ooh, king's move. I mean, I've barely got any digits in the grid. No, it works. Look, where does 9 go in this row? The king's move does the business. Thank you, Kingy McKingface. That cannot be a 9 because of that. So 9 in row 8 has to be there. Now, this is a yellow cell with a 9 in. This is so on the path. Right, it can only see a maximum of 8 cells going north, so that's yellow. It can only see a maximum of 7 cells going east. So those two are yellow. That's blue to avoid a 2 by 2. And what else do we have? I don't know now. Right, we've got 5 here. If it takes that cell, yeah, okay, let's just have a think. If we were to stop there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's impossible. We can't stop at yellow there because that's yellow. So this can't be blue. That's yellow. So we're either taking 4 or 7 cells in this row. Therefore, in this column, we're either taking 2 more or 5 more. Okay, so I think I can get that this is yellow. If we went all the way to there, those would be yellow and that would be blue. And to avoid a 2 by 2, that would be yellow. But if we only went to there, all of these would be yellow. So this is always yellow. And that's interesting. It's not in a square cell, so it may not even help much. But it's odd that you get to not work out what that is, but that must always be the same colour. Now, we're either going, I think I said up to there, or up to there. Oh, there is this thing about equal numbers in rows and columns that see each other. Yeah. How does it work though? What I'm looking at is those two cells. They can't have the same number. Like you couldn't make both of those blue, for instance, because these two clearly are getting the same number in their vertical string. If they both got 1 in their horizontal string, they would have to have the same number in the side square. And that would be a Sudoku contravention. So I don't know if I can actually use that anywhere yet. Is there more Sudoku? I mean, there's a 9 in one of those cells. I don't see why it couldn't be in the square. King's move? There's a 1 that can't be in those, so it has to be somewhere here. 2. Man, I don't know what to do next. Gosh, I'm sorry. It's difficult, this. It really is not easy. What on earth can I do now? Is it blindingly obvious? I'm not seeing what's clear. I don't think it is easy, the next step. I think we've reached a difficult point. This blue has to get out. That yellow has to... Well, it'll either be taking 6 in its column or 3. And this one will be either taking 4 or 7. Oh, what would this digit be if that was yellow? It is so obvious, isn't it? This digit would then see 9 cells, but it's not allowed to be a 9 by Sudoku. So that's blue. This is now either a 4 or it goes north. What about this? If that was blue, I don't know, that could be either colour. I'm not thrilled about that. No, is that all I got? One cell coloured. Okay, let's think about this. Oh, well, we get that pattern that I was just talking about. This is yellow because they can't be just two now, right? Yes, I said very clearly those two can't both be blue. Then I coloured that blue and didn't see the ramifications. Now we've got a 2 by 2 and that's blue. And it's either 3, 4 or 6, depending on how far we go with blue here. It's not 4, because that would be blue, and this would become a 4, because it would only see those. So it's either 3 or 6. If it was 6, that would be 4. If it was 3, that would be yellow, so this wouldn't be 4. This digit, I was going to say it's 1 more than that, but that depends how far we extend left here. Okay, sorry, I'm not really getting very far very fast here. This is at least a 5 now. This is either 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. Oh, we know, sorry, we know the length here, so that 9, we get to fill it all in. They're yellow and that's blue. Gosh, how am I not seeing what's going on? So, I don't know, it's pathetic, isn't it? Those are now 6 already, so this is 6, 7 or 8, depending on whether we go left here. That is at least a 4. That is at least a 5. This is a 4 at least. They're not allowed to both be 4s. Yeah. Oh, come on. What next? 9s, 8s. 2. I mean, the King's Move rules 2 out of all of those cells. It doesn't seem very interesting, if I'm honest, at the moment. Right, this one is 3 or 6. If it was a 6, they would all be blue, and that would be a 4 at the end. Well, no, 4 plus any northing. That would be 4, and this would be, that would force this to be yellow, so this wouldn't have to be 2 4s. And that would create blues here and here from the 2 by 2s. I can't see why not. If that was a 3, this would be yellow, and that would be at least 5. I think this is always blue, because if this is a 6, it's blue, and if that's a 3, that's yellow, and to avoid a 2 by 2, that becomes blue. One more cell in the grid coloured. Now this is maximum 8, which would take it up there. Or this is 6, 7 or 8. If that's yellow, that's blue. Is it 9 in this box? I don't see how that's going to help. 1 can't be in those cells. Oh, 1 can never be in a square because that won't form, it'll be isolated basically. So 1 is in one of those 3 in box 8. It's not really the kind of information. I suppose 1 is confined to those cells in box 6. And therefore, by the King's Move, it can't be sitting there. That's not really buttering my parsnips. Okay, let's think again. If that's 6, this is 4. That has to be more than 5. More than 4. So that's yellow. Okay, so if that's 6, these end up being blue. What does that do? Not a lot. But if this is 3 and that's yellow, then what? I don't know. Is there some connecting problem with yellow and blue? Like, do we must, one of these at least is yellow. I mean, it doesn't seem like it does anything. Wow, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to wait until inspiration dawns somehow. That can't be a 2, which means that these two can't both be yellow. If they were both blue, this would be at least a 5. You couldn't have blue there and yellow there. It's totally not interesting stuff. Oh, goodness gracious. Am I meant to ask, where does some digit go in a box that I haven't thought about? The given 1, maybe. Come on, Mark. Come up with something, for goodness sake. The viewers are getting bored. They don't know. Even if they do know how, either they do know how to move on and they think you're an idiot, or they don't know how to move on and they want to find out. Okay, let's think about this again. If that is blue, we've got 6 there and 4 there. What's the problem with that? This wouldn't be allowed to be 4. I keep doing this. Oh, and also, if that's 6, neither of these would be allowed to be 6. Is that interesting? No, I don't think it is. Oh, if that's yellow, that has to be yellow to avoid a checkerboard. I mean, that's become a 3, but then this is at least 6 at that point. Which goes well with the potential 3 there. But if this is yellow, that's not a 4. It's a bigger number. I don't know. It just seems very, very freely available, whatever any digit wants to be. Okay, I'm now seeing that this can't be a 6 for a particular reason. Actually, it could... If that was a 6, this would be blue and that would be a yellow 6, and they would be touching on the king's move, is what I'm noticing there. Oh, if this is not 6, if that is 7 or 8, that's yellow, and this is then not allowed to be 2, so it must be 4. So if this is 7 or 8, that is a 4. If that is 6, this is blue, and then this has some scope. I mean, the interactions are slightly unpredictable in my view here. They're not crazily complex, but I'm not finding them easy. Oh, if this is yellow, oh, this is huge. If this is yellow, that's blue to avoid a 2 by 2. Then that's yellow to avoid a 2 by 2. And the number here is blue, is 2, which is impossible. Look, if that, I'll show you, if that's yellow, that's blue to avoid a 2 by 2 in yellow, then that's yellow to avoid a 2 by 2 in blue, and now you've got a 2 cell, and that clashes. Good grief, so that's not yellow, that's blue. This is a known number 4. This is at least a 5, depends how far this extends. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not an 8, or it would end there, which is not possible. So that is 5, 6, or 7. Wow, that being blue. I mean, it doesn't tell me what this is, but it did cap that off, and we got a 4. Now, this is not allowed to be a 4, so that's yellow. Yellow to avoid a checkerboard. This is now definitely a 3. This is not allowed to be a 2, so that's blue, and now this is a 6. It's intriguing how the chain carries on when you do get a digit occasionally. That's yellow to avoid a checkerboard. That's blue to get the blue out. This is at least a 4. Well, I'm going to put 4, 5, or 7. It looks to me like it can't get beyond 7. This digit is up to 3, 6 already. So I'm going to put 6, 7, or 8. This one has now been capped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is known. This is, if it was blue, that would be yellow. But now it's bigger than 2, so it's okay. Just have to be so careful. This is at least 5. But it's not 6, 7, or 9. It's 5 or 8. And we either go yellow up to there, or that is blue. Right, I'm going to colour this one now, because if this is blue, these 2 cells would be the same if that was yellow. Sorry, yes, that is right. If this was blue, that would have to be blue, so these 2 cells could have a different number in. If that's yellow, this is blue because of 2 by 2 rules, so that is always blue, and this number is now known as a result of that. I find this stuff so complicated. I'm sorry, it just is not easy to do this sort of deduction again and again. Even when you get the same sorts of deduction again and again, and I don't think you do very much. Now, is this an 8? Then those are all yellow. Or do I think about this digit? Sorry, I put some candidates in there because this can see 1, 7, 6, 8, 9 and a 2 by the king's move. Actually, maybe that is the way to go about stuff in the puzzle. Yeah, 6 in box 6 in box 7 is in one of those 2 cells. King's move rules it out of there. And now I can place a 6 here. Oh, don't tell me there's Sudoku to do in this puzzle as well. I mean, wouldn't that be an outrage? Okay, let's think about this digit. I was going to say it can't be blue again, but I'm just talking through my hat now. What about yellow? If it was yellow, it's at least a 3. Okay, this cell I'm in is always yellow, because if that's yellow, this isn't allowed to be a 2, and that has to be yellow. And if it's blue, there's a 2 by 2 potential, and that's yellow. So yet again, one more digit picked off. I was joking, obviously, about being annoyed about doing Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle. I would love to get to the stage in this puzzle where I am doing Sudoku and not panicking about everything else. Right, if that's yellow, this has to be 1 fewer than that digit, making it, well, it's never going to be 3, because we have to get out from here, either north or east. going to put the candidates in. It's certainly, oh no, 9 is a candidate as well. I'd forgotten 9, even though I've got it pencil marked into one of those 3 cells. Okay, let's think about this. 5 or 8. And yeah, if those are all yellow, oh, if those are all yellow, if those are all yellow to make this an 8, then these are all blue. And what happens then? This is a 7. Oh, that would be a 6, which is not allowed. So that's not yellow, that's blue, that's a 5. Now, this is a bigger digit than this one. By at least 1. Well, either by 1, or by 3, or by 5. This is a different parity to this digit. By 1, so by 1, 3, or 5. So if that's 4, this is 5, 7, or 9. The only way this can be the even 8 is if that's a 5, and the blue would look like this. Some of the highlighting that Sven's software does, I don't quite understand. Anyway. Got to think again. This is 3, 4, or 8 by Sudoku. Again, maybe Sudoku is more helpful than is predictable in this puzzle. I really think we've got, oh, that can't be a 5 by the king's move. So, oh, this is either 4 or 7. So either that is yellow or all of these are blue. Now, if that's yellow, but on the 2 by 2 that's blue, so that's always blue. On the checkerboard, that must be blue now. And this, oh no, I don't know if it extends right. I was going to say this digit is either 4 or 8, is it? Yeah. But it might, blue might extend to the right here. So, oh no, hang on, this is 4 or 7. Yes, that all depends on whether this is yellow or blue. Okay, so that's not resolved. There is a 5 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku now. And king's move. That can't be a 5 by king's move. Actually, oh, that's interesting a bit. If this was 7 now, what's this? If this was 7, is this is 8 and that's yellow. Okay, that is possible. If this is 7, I'm sorry, I know I just keep saying it to myself. But if this is 7, the only possibility here is 8. If that's 4, this is 7 or 9. I think I've just made this one, no. 7 and 8 makes this yellow, but 4 and 7 or 9 makes this blue. Bother. And I haven't, no, I can't possibly rule on that yet. Okay, let's have a look at this. It's already at least 4. Now, if we connect to here, that's a 7. That's going to have to be 8, and that's yellow. Oh, yes, okay, that's how that doesn't work. If this is 7, that's 8. Remember, it can't be 9 because it would have to extend to there but not there. So if that's 7, that's 8, and this has no fill because it can't be 7, 8 or 9 now. So this is not 7, this is 4. Wow, I mean, I find this very, very hard. This one is now 7 or 9. It's a different parity from that. And it must extend at least to this cell, and it's now a question of whether it extends there and becomes a 9. This one is not allowed to be 4 in the column now, so that has to extend to there. Then we get yellow to avoid a 2 by 2 and yellow to avoid a checkerboard. This is now at least 5. Right, this digit is potentially 4 at the moment, or we could extend it. It's not allowed to be a 5 by Sudoku, so it could be 6, it can't be 7, and it could be 8. This one? Don't know. I don't know. I might come back to think about that in a moment. Now, this, if it's blue, it is a 7, and that's the 9. It's not allowed to be 7 because of that, so it's not blue, it's yellow. We now know this digit is a 7. This is 3, 4, or 6, looking north to how many yellows it can contain. This one hasn't changed as a result of that. If this was blue, that's yellow because of 2 by 2. This would then be 2, 3, or 5. I don't know, it wouldn't be 5 by the length of column. It would be 2 or 3. Let's have another quick look at some cheeky Sudoku. There's a 7 in one of those cells. There's a 4 right there in box 8. Can't be there by King's move. And 6, 3, 4, 2, 5, 1 is in one of those 2 cells. And therefore one of these 2, 1 can never be in the squares, remember? This is not allowed to be 3 or 4. Oh, no, I was going to get excited about 4 in this row. I'd forgotten. I've got it available over here. Okay, let's go back to thinking about this then. 3, 4, or 6. And that depends how far yellow goes north. Now, blue has to get out. This blue has to get out somewhere. So I think this can't be 8. If that was 8, they'd all be yellow and blue would be locked in. So that is 6 or 4. If it was 6, these would both be yellow. That would be blue to avoid a 2 by 2, and that would be a 2. And that would be blue. Oh, this isn't allowed to be 7 now. 5, we're already there. 6 would take us to that cell, which would be either 5 or... Oh, the permutations, they just carry on. Honestly, I mean, I will feel like I have escaped the Minotaur if I get out of this. Oh, 5 there is in one of those 2 cells. So 5 up here is in one of those 3. Okay, let's actually think about that being a 4. This has to be a different digit, and I was going to say yellow has to continue, but it could stop there in a 2. If that's a 6, these are both yellow, and that's blue, and it is a 2 or a 3. It's not a 2 because blue has to carry on and get out. So it would be a 3. So if that's a yellow 6 making all of these yellow, blue is going up here to a 3 and a number that is not allowed to be 3, 4, 6 or 7. And must therefore be a 5, which actually feels pretty plausible. Oh, have I missed something badly? Good Lord. I mean, I've filled in all the boxes from columns from rows 6 to 9. I feel like I've made a lot of progress, if I'm honest. In fact, these digits, they can't be 4, 6, or 7. So they are 2, 3, 5, 8, or 9. 8 seems remarkably implausible in both cases. No, come on, I've got to work out probably this. If that was a 4, this is blue and that's yellow. If that's a 6, this is always yellow, right? That's yellow. So blue is escaping either through this pipe or through that one. So if those were blue, that would be blue on the checkerboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be an 8, and that would be a 6. If blue's getting out this way, it's going up to there. And that would be 8, and that would be 6. What's the problem there? This would be 2, and this would be 4. I mean, it would all be very done. But it looks like it works. Now, the alternative is that blue escapes up here with a 3 and a 5. And therefore, this 5 has to either turn right or left. Now, if that was a 3, this isn't allowed to be a 3 anymore. So that would become yellow. Okay, this is interesting. If this is a 3, that's at least a 4, and that's yellow. So if that's a 3, the blue is turning left to there, and we get 3, 5, 3. And that's impossible between those two cells on the king's move. Wow, that's mad. Okay, this works. We can't have blue escaping this way because that would be 3. That, it couldn't be more, could it? And it's not allowed to be 4. That would make that not 3. So this yellow would have to go up to there. This digit could only be a 5 at that point. And that would force it to go around there. Oh, hang on. This could be a 4 if we had blue there. But no, I think blue is not going to escape then. Because if that's blue, that has to go yellow. And this blue is locked. Oh, it's true, but it's blooming difficult. But we do not escape the blue up there. We escape up here, and then that is blue to avoid a checkerboard. This number, ooh, I was going to say it's an 8 earlier. But of course that could be blue and it could be a 9. So I'm not going to say that. I think I am, but I'm not going to say it yet. This is now not a 5. That much I've got. Okay, now I'm going to have to come to this digit. Why I don't think that's a 9 is because if that's blue... I was going to say blue won't join up. Blue is already joined up. Oh, man. I'm so not finished yet. This digit is known. That's a 2. This digit is known. That's a 4. This is... No, it can't be 8 because that would be a 10. So that is 6. And this has to be... Oh, because that can't be a 7. This can't be a 9. Because this one is 2 more because it goes 2 further south than that one. So that's an 8 now. This is now a 1-5 pair by some form of madness called Sudoku. This is yellow to cut off the 8 and the 6. Wow. Okay, good, 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 good. Now, come on, 3, 4 more squares to fill in. And 6 more cells to colour. I can do this somehow. Let's do Sudoku. That's not an 8. 1, 5, 8, 6, 4. This is a naked 7. That's the sort of digit I like. Naked because it sees 3, 6, 2, 9, 4 and 1, 5, 8. So there's nothing else left for it to be other than 7. So that's a 7. 4, 7, 5, 1. This is a 6, 8 pair by Sudoku. And this is a 2, 3, 9 triple down the middle. It would be nice if when I finish the maze and the yin-yang, I can just write in the remaining numbers. Little implausible. That seems to be a 3, 7 pair though. So this is 4, 6, 9 as a triple. I mean, that's going to give me something in this square. It's going to give me some information. This is either a 4, it can't be a 9. In no colour can that be a 9. If it's blue, it's a 5. If it's yellow, it's a maximum 6. So that is the 9. This is 4 or 6. If it's yellow, that's fine, and that's blue. If it's blue, it cannot be a 4 or a 6. because of this row. 4 would sort of crash into there. Yeah, that is not blue. That is yellow, but I don't know if it's 4 or 6 yet. I mean, this may be the way, is to do Sudoku. That's the only place for 6 in column 4. This is a 1-8 pair that might be resolved, but I can't see it. This is a pair of something, a pair of 5-2. And in fact, this is an 8. Now, okay, I'm going to have to think about the remaining squares. I keep trying to put it off, as you can see, and not quite getting there. Oh no, hang on, this can't be 6 anymore by Sudoku now. So this is 3 or 4. And what that's telling me is one of these can't both be yellow because of that number. They can't both be blue because of 2 by 2, so that's one of each. Now I still don't know. Oh, this is blue to avoid a 2 by 2. That's one more cell coloured, just 4 left. That's one of each. Right, these numbers, come on. If this is yellow, it's definitely a 3 because that goes blue. And that would be yellow to allow that to be a 4. If this is blue, it's not allowed to be a 4, it would have to be a 2. So if it's blue, that's yellow. If this is yellow, that's blue. So this is one of each, and that's one of each. So I know how many cells in the puzzle are blue and yellow, but I just don't know which is which. But I do feel like I might finish it today. One of those is a 6 by Sudoku. One of those two is an 8. Okay, the only place for 8 in this column is down at the bottom. Let's do some Sudoku again. Can't get out of the habit of trying to cheat my way out by doing Sudoku. So, oh look, 5 has come out of that cell. That's a 3-4 pair, and this is an 8. Simon would see it as cheating my way out. I seriously think he would as well. Right, come on, bit more, and we're there. 9 is in one of those 3 cells. It surely isn't there. So I don't think that can be 9 in any colour. So one of those is a 9. In fact, that can't be 9. In fact, 9 in this box is ruled out of those cells. So 9 is in one of those 2, and now it can't be there and is placed here. And that's not 9, and that doesn't do anything else. 7, 6, 8, 9. I mean, honestly, is this cheating to try and do Sudoku? Let me know in the comments. If you think, not only is it not, you know, my general view would be, not only is it not cheating, it's probably what you're meant to do. But I know Simon would regard the purity of the yin-yang as more important. Oh, I'm enjoying this a lot, by the way. 9, 4, 8, 1, 7, 6, not possible there. So that's 2, 3, or 5. 4's in one of those cells. No, I'm not. I've got to get back to this. Right, if that is a 6, these are both yellow, and that's a 4. I mean, that's a sort of Sudoku thing. Either that is a 4, or if it's a 6, that's a 4. So in no circumstance can that be a 4. I mean, I don't know if that could possibly help. I don't think it does here. Let's just look at this. 9, 8, 7, 3, 4. These digits are 1, 2, 6, and 5. Are they all looking at some cell up here? No, they're not actually. King's move doesn't quite work like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5 are all sitting here though, and they are all looking at that cell, which also can't be 6, which is in one of those, or 8, so that is 4, 7, or 9. 1, 2, 3, 5. Now we can't put 1 in a square, so one of these two is a 1. These are selected from 2, 3, and 5 by Sudoku. Now that can't be a 2. So this is 3 or 5. 3, it can be yellow. How could it be blue if it was 3? That's quite interesting. I think, first of all, I'm going to say it can't be 5 in any colour. Can it? Can't be 5 in yellow, because it just can't get there. 5 in blue, it can only have 1 or 3 in the row, and then, yeah, it can't get there, because it's adding those 2 as a pair, those 2 as a pair, to those 2. So it can't be blue. It can't be a 3 in blue. Oh no, it can. No, it can't be a 3 in blue either, because it's getting those 2. It can't be blue. It is yellow because it's 3 or 5. And now that's blue by Sudoku and is a 2. That's yellow to avoid the checkerboard. This is a known 3. This has to be a 4 now because it's reached beyond the realm of 3. And that is blue, and there is the colouring finished. And all the squares are finished when I put a 4 in there, and now I can finish the puzzle with numbers, surely. Surely to goodness. That's a 3. These aren't done. Right, now I get to do Sudoku. So, and King's move, obviously. 1 or 5 there. What have we got? 1, 5, and 6. So all of those cells see that one, which also sees 2, 3, 4, 8, and it sees 9. So that's a naked 7. That's a 9. Oh no, there's nowhere for 6 in the row. Oh no, 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 no. Don't tell me I've got something wrong now. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Six is in one of those cells, so by King's move it can't be in those, but it's got to be. Is that, have I miscounted something? Please tell me I've just miscounted something. This was so beautiful. I've finished my pattern. What's gone wrong with 6s? Oh, I'm so distressed. Something's gone wrong here. I don't know. I mean, is there any point continuing? No, there isn't. Let's go back. Let's go back to where things... So I found it a bit odd that I suddenly felt that these were from 2, 3, 5. That was much more constrained than I'd realised they could be. Oh, hang on. Oh, we're okay. I wrote a 4 into that, just counting those 4. Oh, thank goodness. So where did I do that? What's happening here? Right, this is what I did. I just wrote the... I don't know what's happened with the numbers here. Right, let's go back to this point. This has to be a 3. That has to be blue. This is a 6, not a 4. Oh my goodness. I mean, if it was hot sweats earlier, I don't even know how to describe what's just happened to my body there. That's a 9. It's actually a lot easier than I was thinking. This is a 4. That's a 3. Okay, now 6 can be here. This is a 1, 5 pair. Oh, just writing the wrong number in the last square by... You know, I thought I was really maintaining concentration well. I couldn't have been more wrong, could I? That's a naked 7 now. This is a 2 and a 4. And again, the adrenaline is flowing out of my body, so I'll probably lose concentration straight away now. That has to be a 2 because it sees that 3, 7 pair. This is 3 or 7. I mean, it's painful to get this far so successfully and then mess it up. That was the 4 that I was thinking of putting in a moment ago, and it's right. That is 2 or 9. 6, 2, 9, 4, 8. One of those is a 3, one of those 2. One of those is a 7. 2, 6, 3, 9. That's 4 and 2 are done. 7 there actually is looking across. That is 1 or 5. That's the only place for 4 in row 2. That might be the last 4 in the grid. You knew that was coming. I didn't. Right, 1, 5, 7 and 8. Now there's an 8 in one of those cells and an 8 in one of those cells, and they mustn't touch. Therefore, neither of these middle two can have an 8 in. One of the 8s is there, one of them is there. That's an X-wing, and there'll be an 8 in one of those two positions, which literally has to be there. That's a 5. That makes that a 1. That is a 5, 7, 8 triple now. Okay, and they all see this cell, which also can't be 3, 4, 6, 9 or 2, and is therefore a 1. And that fixes 5 and 1 over here. And now this is a 5. Oh, it's so odd. A 5, 7 pair. This is a 1, 3 pair. They're not resolved. This column is going to do it, isn't it? This is 2 or 5. No, it's not. That's 2 or 7. It's going to be this column then. Yes, 2 is looking at that. Now in this row, I've got a 3, 8 pair. That is 2 or 5, but I know from the column which one. That deals with this triple. That deals with boxes 2 and 3. And this is a 2 to complete the column. Then I can do 5, 2, 5, 7. Now I've got 6, 7. This one sees a 1 by a king's move. So here we go. Finally, after dodging the Minotaur and then nearly running slap bang into it, we've done it. As you step from the final twists of the labyrinth, the silence settles. The maze has released its hold and the Minotaur is safely confined. In unravelling this ancient path, you have broken the curse of King Minos, lifting the weight of his long-guarded secret. The labyrinth yields to you its hidden knowledge, no longer bound by the walls of the past. You are free. And what a lovely note to end the puzzle on. You are free. And you are free. You're free to join us again tomorrow for more Sudoku, which we will love to bring to you. Thank you for watching us on Cracking the Cryptic, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Bye for now.